What's going on, everybody? This week, the Big Brother Mana podcast is slightly cursed. Slightly cursed. This is the third time I've asked everybody what is up, although it is the first time for you, assuming you're not listening to this choice or more. But, first time, got about 2-3 minutes in, Mike wasn't recording. Second time, got about 4 or 5 minutes in, OBS says, disk space full, make room. So, take 3. If you are watching on YouTube, you get the Easter egg of seeing that my hair is an absolute mess. Messy bun right now. And you also knew seconds before everybody else that the other reason this episode is a little cursed is I am doing it alone. So I only had I'm going to talk to more people, and obviously I got to really start reaching out to the people I've been meaning to. I had 2 people lined up. One had told me from the beginning she's excited, she wants to do it, but she's really busy, she'll let me know when. I told her open invite, reach out anytime. Friday or Saturday night, hanging out with some buddies, I said, hey, I still need someone for next week, and kind of gave her like the, huh? I'm Italian, so the people watching on YouTube are seeing some pro body language right now that the rest of you are missing. But yeah, I gave her like the, huh? And she said, I can do that. I can definitely do that. And then my life got very hectic, and I forgot to follow up on that before yesterday. Couldn't get in touch with her. Might still. Maybe it'll be like an immediate post a day after this. But as of right now, you are listening to this instead on Saturday. Unless I did it earlier, because I got somebody in time to have a real episode on Saturday. But if not, we're not going to call this episode 5. We can't call it episode 0, because there is an episode 0 where I introduce myself and what I'm doing. So I guess this will just be referred to lovingly as a side quest. Right? Side quest. All by my lonesome. No party. No party to help bail me out. No one to carry me. My guests always carry me. My guests carry me because I genuinely want this to be about the people on it. And I want my role on my podcast to be someone that's there for them, someone to support them, someone to talk to them, and we're creating a space. I struggle to find like good words for what we're doing here every time. But maybe now, without seeing the guest staring me in the eye, it's just simply we're creating a space, we're creating a network. I'm being the big brother that I was born to be. That's my real sister. And I'm supporting, I'm uplifting, and I'm being there. And typically, like the bottom of the screen, if you're watching, will say checking in with, and it'll have the person's name. I didn't bother doing that for myself. Although I guess I am checking with myself today. And that's because that's what we're doing here. We're bringing on someone that I support, I believe in, and we are checking in with them, and we're giving them a chance to promote, to talk about what's on their mind, good and or bad, and just reassuring them that I and everyone involved is here, and we all got each other's backs. So this is a podcast for nerds. It's mainly a podcast for mental health, because like I said, we're checking in, we're supporting, we're creating a family, a network, our pillars, our people. But it is a nerd podcast. I've had streamers on, I have artists lined up, I've had my brother who plays sports on. Sports are nerdy, so don't try to hit me with that. That doesn't belong here, because if you think that, you're wrong. Sports are nerdy. All the different sports fan bases have cons. But yeah, so although the goal is mental health, and honesty and genuine talk. It's nerdy because those are the people I have in my life, and we do talk shop. We do talk a little shop. Um, Honestly, I feel like I've done such a good job of trying to this this was a good parlay in my head. Maybe I'll explain it after. It might seem a little abrupt, but in my head there were dots connected you didn't see. I've done such a good job of like doing things that I know are better for me than like sitting around and doom scrolling wishing I was doing something different. And if you've been listening, you know I walk to the gym and then I do the gym obviously, then I walk back. I listen to like my podcast, I listen to my audiobooks. I have a lot of good routines in place that have really helped me physically and mentally. I've got a little work to do physically for the people who can't see. I'm rubbing my belly like it's a pot full of jelly or whatever Santa does. um, and mentally, like the walks with just like the podcast or the book on has been just so good for what's up here. That like ironically, I feel like outside of maybe doing this podcast, I haven't been like socializing that much. Like I said, I went out the other night and like I got forced. It was if you remember Apostle from episode 1, it was his birthday, and they're like, "Come on, like I did to who should have been my guest today if I didn't drop the ball on that, going, "Come on." And honestly, I haven't been gaming. You know, I've been working really hard at work. Work's been hectic. There might be good news there, and I won't get too much into it in case there isn't, but there might be good news there. And then when I'm done there, I do the gym, and then I walk home, and I just get home and like fall asleep, man. My eyes and my brain are like, no, it's time to shut off for a little bit. Um, and yeah, I know it's a weird thing to say that I gotta do a better job of like making time to like bullshit with people and play video games, but like those are a big part of who I am, you know? Like I'm a big gamer. Like I know I'm not like the creator, like the creators I have on, but like I hit go live every now and then. I try to do stuff like this. Um, if I see a trailer I'm hyped for, like I hit like start recording on TikTok and give my 2 cents for 10 people real quick. um, so yeah, like I feel like it's just like balance is hard. I think that's what I'm trying to say is that like balance is hard. Because like not too long ago, I was probably just like spending too much time wasting away like in front of video games and like sitting in PlayStation parties with people in lieu of hanging out with people, and like I started getting off my ass and like going to the gym and working more and like things that were good for here and here. I'm touching my brain and my stomach again for the people who are listening. Um, but I didn't keep leaving time for those other things like gaming and like socializing, you know. And obviously like this whole like basis of this podcast is how I like pride myself on like this brotherly love I like feel for my people around me, and like that I try to like spread out to my people. And you'd think like I'd make more time to go out and see those people, but we're all adults. First of all, we're all adults and it's hard. I've said a couple times, you know, we gotta plan Magic Night a month in advance. But there's room there, and I'm not trying hard enough. And that's my confession to anyone in my life. Ironically, one of my better friends was saying that like they're too tied up like in every which way with this person and that person, with this person and that person, that they probably aren't doing the things that I like started doing to take care of myself. And I told them like my secret, and I am going to tell you my secret by the time this is done. But I am gonna finish ranting first. And the point was, they need to find balance. I need to find balance. And I hope you find balance if you're struggling to find it. and it's super hard. And like I know it's easy to say like figure out what's missing and do it because we're adults and we have obligations before we have what we probably think is the important stuff. you know, so like, I'm not saying like I'm gonna like say goodbye, flip this thing down, and just go out and create the world's greatest social life without leaving my job and and without gaming. Like just like, but I am going to make a concentrated effort to think about how I can arrange my time to find balance because before I was missing things that kept me out of my own head and I found reading and podcasts. And then I was missing physical and mental health and I found the gym and now I'm missing playtime. Like I know that sounds weird and like sexual, but it shouldn't because I'm demisexual. But that's regardless. that doesn't that was a bad joke. But like sometimes between how hard I've been at work trying to provide myself with a better work life and how hard I've been working on like the gym and all the stuff that have been making me healthier, down here and up here. I try to do louder pats for the people listening. Now I'm missing playtime. Now I'm not doing anything that's not work. And yes, like working hard at work is important because I need money to pay my bills so I can survive as a human being. And working hard at like the gym and like on study. I guess it's not study because it's books I choose, but like and that's work and like yes that is at time work I enjoy just like music is work I enjoy but it's all work and no play it's all work and no play and like I don't think there's anything wrong like I have a day off and sometimes I just go to the gym and that's all I got done that day and I give myself a hard time but my batteries needed to recharge and that's okay and that's good that I let them and just like my body was telling me no, man, your batteries need to recharge. You need to rest. You need to relax. Recently, my like imagination is a battery that just is needs the juice. It needs to game. It needs to write some music. To be creative. To put creative thoughts out in this world and to take some other people's in. Because that's what like music and gaming really is. Honestly. Is like I said this last week too, where we're sharing experiences with each other through arts and mediums, and I need more of it. Which is a weird thing to say, is that I don't spend enough time goofing off, but I'm not. I'm not. I need balance. And I have a social battery, which is begging to be refilled as well. And it's hard because, that night I went out with my friends was a night I didn't go to the gym after work, and if I didn't have such a good time, I probably would have beaten myself up over not going to the gym. But I had a good time, and it reminded me how important social life is. And it's like really easy to just send text messages and reels and memes and sit in parties and discords because we're gamers and let's just play our games and grunt and ask each other why every now and then and it just I don't want to like act like those things aren't important and those things aren't fun and it's not amazing that we have those things at our fingertips right now. I just need to remind myself and maybe you if you agree that there's just no substitute for face-to-face interaction. There's like no substitute for like a human hug, you know? um this is gonna seem like a little bit of a tangent, but I mentioned I read a lot. I just finished one of the books by Nick Offerman, and he admitted that part of like writing this book about like these people was it kind of gave him an excuse to like reach out to these people and be like, let's meet, let me learn about you, let me pick your brain. Which is funny because like that's to an extent what I'm doing here is like these are people I care about or I'm very interested in, and I'm saying like, oh yeah, help me with my project. But like deep down, let's catch up for an hour. Let's pick each other's brains. Let's network. Let's socialize. Um, but the dot I was connecting there before my tangent went to a second tangent was when he met one of these people, the person just opened their arms and embraced him with a hug. And he said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, he wished more people gave the full hug instead of the handshake or like the half handshake, half backpack hug that that we give the boys. And just show the love. Like the hug, like just it was a weird tangent, but like I think he was right, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just reach out for the hug all the time. I'm just gonna with arms wide open. you know, um, because technology is great, but I'm standing by it. There's no, as great as it is, there's no substitution to face interaction and a good old human to human hug. So hug your loved ones, hug your friends, hug your dogs, hug your cats. Even though I said human to human originally, can't we can't leave out our world furry animals. Some of us like to say things about how our furry animals are more important than like humans anyway, and some of us mean it. No, that was I gave a funny stare at the camera there. But I do love my dog. I'm just gonna I tell everyone that comes on the show that like once they introduce themselves, I'm just gonna just keep taking what they say and trying to drive the conversation another way. But since I am my own guest today, that's just gonna keep happening in my head. So sorry about that. In my head, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, you mentioned," but instead of saying out loud to myself, "Oh, you mentioned," I'm just gonna go on the tangent. Um, I think when I was younger and angrier, I thought like a lot of things were stupid and unnecessary. And I think when I first like heard like emotional support animal, like a younger jaded me was like, that's not real. You just want to bring your dog everywhere with you. And to be fair, there are definitely people who are just bringing their dog everywhere with them. But man, having anxiety and a dog with separation anxiety and anxiety has really taught me really taught me the actual effects that the love of an animal can provide. um I'm not saying I have a legit emotional support animal because he's not trained to be that way and he is quite rambunctious. And if you know him, you know. But now, older and wiser and in ownership of a dog I literally moved across the country for, I understand feeling emotional support from an animal. By the way, my dog is named after Stanley Cup champion Tom Wilson, and that annoys a lot of people on the internet because they hate Tom Wilson. So since we're talking about him, I'm gonna poke the trolls a little. I'm gonna poke the trolls a little. Yeah, I'm a big hockey guy. That's come up a few times. I had Waba on. He's a big sport guy. You know, he does hockey content like NHL, the game and stuff. It would be like really cool to get like a hockey player on, and like yes, obviously I'm not gonna get like Tom Wilson or like an NHL player on, but just someone out there who plays hockey. Tell me more about a sport I love from the inside. That's me putting that on my to-do list out loud for you guys. Because like I said, I've got like a creator slash artist. Um, who should be next whenever we find a time to work that out. I have an artist, like an legit artist, graphic artist, who actually has done um like official artwork for sports and hockey teams. So I guess I'm not that far off from having someone hockey related on, but very excited to have both of them on when it happens, if it happens. You know, maybe I'll just talk to myself forever. No, no, I'm kidding. I didn't even mean to say if it happens like that. It might have something to do with after all that went wrong. I went through like 3, 4 like false starts on this episode before I even really got to start it. But like part of like anxiety is like this just like constant feeling of doom. And when nothing's really going wrong, it's just kind of like this weird feeling of like, what am I forgetting? What's going wrong? But when something goes wrong, even if it's just as minimal as scheduling is hard for adults, and I had to do the podcast alone today. There's anxiety in the back of my brain going, what if you never get them? What if you never get anybody? What if you do this alone forever? And then I tell my brain, well, I'm not gonna keep doing it if no one's gonna keep on it. And then I go, oh man, did I already fail after 4 episodes? And that's anxiety. That's a look into having anxiety for people who don't have it. And that's a look into my anxiety specifically for people who have their own version. I'm giggling at like a silly sentiment, but and I talk about this a lot. I legitimately do believe in the importance of explaining what's going on up here to the people who don't understand. And not like in a way that wants attention or sympathy or even like them to fix it or understand. You want them to understand. And I just feel like a lot of uncomfortable, unnecessary, awkward, like interactions amongst people are as simple as somebody's going through something and the other person doesn't know. And like I mentioned it a little last episode, like even at work, like when someone's like, "Oh, how's it going?" and I'm like, "Ah, well, not great today. I'll get there." It's just like, but now they know I'm not like just a grumpy employee not doing their job. Like there's just something going on up here, and I'm not even sure what it is. But just bear with me, and like we're gonna get you what you need today. And speaking of bearing with me, if you're still here, you are doing that because this has been the most Jesus Take the Wheel of all of my Jesus Take the Wheel podcast. Not to scare away any non-religious folks. I myself don't find myself to be very religious. But Jesus Take the Wheel is, I feel like, a pretty well-known phrase. Speaking of pretty well-known phrases, and this is going to be the least serious thing we talk about. I had been informed today that I used the word semantics wrong. And I was talking something on TikTok about sports, and I was like, oh, it's just semantics, whatever. And someone goes, that's not what semantics means, but that's just semantics. And I looked up semantics. How, like, isn't life silly like that? Like, though? That, like, how many times have I probably said, like, oh, it's just semantics, thinking it meant one thing, and I was, yeah. And then just now, I was like, but that's semantics. I had to, like, stop and think to myself, wait, no, no, no. I know what is and isn't semantics now. Or maybe it's just, like, one of those phrases that, like, inherently is wrong grammatically, but it's just the phrase and we say it. Like, when people say, like, oh, I could care less. It's like, so does that mean you care a lot right now? Like, wouldn't not being able to care less be the insult? Maybe like semantics has become one of those things. Maybe the dude just agrees with me because everyone knows on the internet the number one rule of not having a rebuttal or a counterpoint is grammar. You attack the grammar. Not to insult any grammar nuts out there, or people that grammar is important to, but in my firm opinion, especially in a space where we're limited to character, if you know what I meant, all those characters are correct. If you understood, that's communication. All those characters are correct. None of that has anything to do with where I'm at mentally, physically, or anything to do with this podcast. Other than the fact it was something that's silly that happened to me today, and it just became a thought as I sat here talking. I'm running out of rant. This is sloppy and silly, but I'd rather do this than nothing. And part of this podcast is genuine talk and honesty and just talking about what's going on up here. And thus, I'm happy with it. I don't know if it'll retain people because it was goofy, silly, and all over the place. And kind of sloppy, but I'm putting it out in the world. I'm standing by it. It was me. It was me, genuinely me. I encourage people out there to come on and be them, genuinely them. That was me, genuinely me. So before I go, I have looked into two potential like sponsors / partnerships, which yes, I know is a little reachy as a 5-episode podcast, but networking, baby, that's how you make it. One was with, and yeah, I know it's a little chuckly because every gamer's got an energy drink, but I did come to a successful network with one, and I won't say yet who it is or what my code is and blah blah blah, because first I want to try it. I'm going to try it on my TikTok, and I'm going to give an honest assessment, and if I don't like it, I'm going to reach out to them and be like, hey, sorry, appreciate it. I'll bow out of the Discord. I just I'm bowing out. Sorry again. Oops. But if I like it, I'm gonna push it, and I'm going to be in that Discord and be active with everyone else who believes in their product, and maybe we'll get a couple of them on here. Maybe we can get someone who makes the drink on here. How sick would that be? How sick would that be if the drink is amazing, and they're like, sure, we'll come on and talk about our drink. Pretty cool, right? The other one is actually on the first episode. I talked to Pasla about like how I've like set up my better habits and everything. I said, well, I have an app. I'll show it to you later. I'm gonna try to talk to them, see if we can work something out. I reached out to them. I said, hey, I know like you have like an invite link so you can invite people. But I've been doing this podcast. I have like 4 or 5 episodes now, and just about every single time my guest has said something along the lines of, I just need to build better habits. I need to find time to do this. I need to do this better. And it would be the perfect time to mention I use your app and to be like, use code MANA or go to blah blah blah.com/MANA. Is there a way to like work something out to get like a partner code like that, and or a specific link that's like / Big Brother Mana Podcast and not just / the gibberish that is put in my invite link? And they reached out to me and said, hey, we appreciate that a lot. We're nothing without our community. We don't do anything like that right now. We are gonna talk to whoever we had to talk to about it and see if maybe we can start putting that into action. But for now, no, just use your invite link. So hopefully I started some movement there, and that becomes a thing, and they remember that I started some movement there, and they hooked me up with one. But I am going to talk about the app anyway, even though it's not the official context that I was looking for. And that app is called Way Better. So the app's called Way Better, and it's essentially like, I don't want to like say this like you're gambling, but it's like betting on yourself. So it's like betting on yourself and accountability. So the app is filled with like these games, and some of them are like drink more water, read a book, work out your way, and you have to like send a picture or a screenshot or a selfie or something showing you did these things for X amount of days before it's over. A lot of times it's like 4 days out of the week for 2 weeks. And I think there's a way to do it for free, and you just have an accountability partner, someone who's in the app, and like you kind of check in on each other. But like the thing that's been beneficial to me was a financial commitment, they call it, and it's like it's betting on yourself. So I put down $10 and say, oh, I'm gonna drink the water 6 days out of 7 days or 2 weeks, like this thing says. And then if I complete all those photo check-ins, I get the money back. And then everyone who completed all those like check-ins splits the money of everyone who didn't. So I have been using that since about October. I've been using Way Better since Halloween. Since Halloween, it was Halloween. Um, and I have there are like biannual fees and like and like an original deposit and all those kind of things. But since October, I have made more money than they've taken from me, and not by a small amount. Like obviously I'm not like buying a new computer or a new car or like or but it's more than paying for itself in a way that makes me comfortable doing it and using it, and has held me accountable. I got bills. I can't lose $25 pretending I'm gonna work out and then not work out. So I do it. And then I get rewarded for it. And it's helped me a lot. Like I said, I have made legitimately more than they've taken from me, even though I had to pay two of the fees so far. I did that initial deposit. It's all paid back in full, and I'm in the profit. Um, and I'm down like 47 pounds or something like that since then, which I got more to go, but it's a big reason I've gotten there. So I'm going to put my mundane everyone's got one invite link in the description of this episode, both on YouTube and in the podcast version for all you podcast listeners. And by the way, we're on a lot of apps now, so I don't even know where you're listening from. Um, if you made it this far and you liked it, I appreciate that a lot. If you made it this far and didn't like it that much, I suggest just listening to the other episodes. They're a lot more on task and are actually more in the spirit of what I'm trying to do. And yeah, and I am a little bummed to be doing this alone, but I'm proud of myself for not just not putting this out there and still putting out content that's genuine self-awareness, self-check-in. That's it. I'm not gonna go like the full hour that I would have with somebody else because I can't. I can't. I've been ranting. Might be drinking a new energy drink with a code for you next episode. We'll definitely be using Way Better. I'm about to go take a walk and put it in my workout your way. So check the invite link for that in the bio. Listen to the other episodes. Find my guests. Like watch Postula's content. He's so good. Watch Waba's content. Listen to those dudes are so good. The Three Dads podcast. They're such good dudes. They're so good. Listen to them. Watch some volleyball for Alex. I'm sorry, Alex. I couldn't think of a better way to support you, but you tell me what I should be saying instead. And then obviously Andres, read his reviews. Andres is a good dude. Follow Andres. Follow all my guests. If you can listen to me rant for 34 minutes, they're infinitely cooler and more talented, and you'll love them. Yeah. But I am Johnny Mana / Meowth. And I'm gonna continue being Johnny Mana / Meowth. But with some sigh of relief, I am done doing it here, so catch you next time.